We're back now as our extended weather coverage continues with cold temperatures and some snow coming down in Hampton Roads.
Yeah, joining us now to talk about road conditions and more is Matt Demlein, the Public Relations Coordinator for Virginia State Police. Thank you, sir, for taking some time to speak with us.
Sure, no problem.
So tell me, are you hearing about any problems so far on the roadways, and what are you watching out for?
Well, I just took a look at our calls out just a few minutes ago, and actually we're not seeing much of anything on the roads right now. So that's a good thing, and hopefully it stays that way throughout the rest of the evening. Obviously, if there is any wet roads, possibly turning to black ice, icy roads, things along that line, we'd be concerned about the potential for crashes. But we just want people, if they don't have to go out, don't go out if there's winter weather out there. And also, if you do have to go out, just, take it easy. Don't drive as fast. Give yourself a lot of room to stop. Just all the tips that we've been giving over the last several storms to drive safely in this weather.
Are there any known, slick spots or danger spots people should keep an eye out for? I know those bridges and overpasses typically tend to be trouble areas in this rain to snow mix.
Bridges and overpasses obviously are always the place that freezes first. And there are others. We have hot spots around the state that we pay attention to when we do get winter weather. I know for the first storm, we pre-positioned folks, VDOT pre-positioned folks in some of those hot spots around the state just to be ready for the potential for crashes and the like. So, yeah, there are areas we keep an eye on, but, really crashes can occur anywhere. You can have icing anywhere. If you're going to be out this evening and you do run into winter weather, just be aware, drive a little bit slower, be prepared.
Matt, what would you say is the biggest mistake that people make when they get out? I mean, they get out there sometimes and they're feeling a little overconfident. What is it that you say is just the common cause of a lot of these accidents?
I think more than anything else, it's probably driving too fast for the conditions. You have to be aware that there is icing out there. There may still even be some snow and ice and the like from previous storms. And that does make it a little bit more difficult for tires to grip to the road. So just drive for the conditions, drive slower, give yourself some more space between you and the other cars out there on the road. It's safer for you. Just slow down, basically, is the biggest key in this type of weather.
Are troopers at any sort of risk? What can drivers do to make their jobs a little bit easier, a little bit safer when we see VSP out there?
Well, the biggest key, of course, is, like I said, drive slow. But also, really, if you don't have to be out there, don't be out there. I don't enjoy driving in the snow. I prefer not to be out there if I don't have to be. Really, the fewer cars that are out there, the fewer crashes we have to deal with. So really, the best thing you can do is if you don't have to be out, don't be out. But if you do have to be out, please drive slowly.
Well, Matt, we've had a couple of bouts of this winter weather, and I know you all put out some information on the number of crashes. How have we done as drivers out on the roadways? I mean, what kind of grade would you give us?
And of course, each storm is different. Every storm is different. Each storm has its unique qualities. I will say that the number of injury crashes that we had over the last two storms, and that would be the one that occurred January 20th, the weekend of the 24th, and then the one that occurred just this past weekend, which was mostly a Hampton Road storm. The number of injury crashes was really low, and we think people really did a good job of heeding the message of not going out if they didn't have to, and if they did, driving more carefully in the weather conditions that were out there. So I think the grades were actually pretty good. There were not a lot of injury crashes, and that's a good thing.
Do you guys work with VDOT? What is some of the resources, the coordination that happens around winter storms, or as minor as this or as big as we saw last weekend?
I will tell you, we work with VDOT and VDEM, the Department of Emergency Management, throughout these storms. I've been talking with my VDOT counterparts a number of times over this last month. We actually recognize each other's cell phone numbers now. So there's a lot of coordination. Obviously, VDOT has been working very hard. They've had a lot of work that they've had to take on over these last couple of weeks. They've been working very hard, and they're continuing to work hard. And another important thing that I think we should mention, too, if VDOT does have the trucks out there, depending on the conditions that are going to be out there tonight, give them space, allow them to do their jobs. They're doing the best they can to make sure the roads are as safe as possible.
All right. And my guess is you do have added the number of troopers out tonight?
Well, I don't know that we've increased staffing for this particular bout of winter weather, just because it doesn't seem to be as bad as the other storms. Obviously, we increased shifts for the previous two storms. Hopefully tonight, I think from the forecast, it was only supposed to be just maybe an inch or two. Hopefully, it doesn't rise to the level where we saw with the other two storms.
Right, absolutely. Okay, Matt Demlein, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us, and you be safe. We appreciate the time.